Welcome back. Today we're going to try to tackle two things on the car. Firstly, the coolant setup, and secondly, we're going to tear the current suspension out and ship that away. So we're going to start the episode with the suspension tear out. The reason I'm going to tear this stuff out, so right now I'm running Bilsteins that have been revalved by my shock builder down in Texas, David Whitener Racing. This car, everything that's underneath this car suspension-wise came off of my CSP car, which I think I've shown before. I'll put a picture up right here-ish. That car ran 275 slicks, literally lived its life for autocross. I hardly drove on the street, and David heard me saying that my suspension was too rough for street use, especially the amount of street miles I put on this thing. So it turns out, let me show you the suspension. The rears, I'm running 600-pound springs in the back and 800-pound springs in the front, which for those of you, I'll put the kilogram values right here for you metric folk. That's a lot for a street car. These are just Bilsteins, Spec Miata Bilsteins with All-Star Performance collars and adjustment sleeves, custom bump stops, and extended top hats all around. And then these are the 600-pound springs. They're also very short. So he apparently has a more street-oriented valving setup. So what you can't see on these, I'll show you when I take them out. There is a Schrader valve, so he can release the nitrogen and repressurize them. I'm going to ship them to him in Texas. He's going to rebuild and revalve the shock assembly. I already ordered the springs this morning. I'm going to be running 600 fronts. And now that I think about it, I probably could have just ordered 400s because I can take my rears. But I'll be running 600 fronts and 400 rears. And that with a softer damping setup will be a smoother ride for me. So I'm going to drive this thing hopefully to Miata's at the Gap. And, you know, I want to rip the tail of the dragon. I want to drive to Cincinnati and see my brother. So if this thing is more comfortable, I won't have back problems after an 8 or 12-hour drive. So we're going to tear out all four corners, clean them up, disassemble them, ship them out, and then we're going to build the coolant setup after that. But let's tear these out first. This should be pretty quick. It's like 3 bolts per setup. So we'll blow these out real quick, and then I'll show you guys that and pick you back up. So I disassembled all of them. I'm gonna clean them with some degreaser. It's, you know, if you're gonna ship something to somebody, don't send it dirty. So he also requested that I wipe them down pretty good. They are pretty grimy, especially the one that was up in this corner because the front main seal was leaking, so it sprayed oil all over it. But yeah, these are the shocks. This is what I'm gonna send to him. He's gonna take them apart, refill them. There's the Schrader valve I was talking about. I took everything apart, and the spring company got back to me. They actually pulled the 600-pound springs for my order, thankfully, since I already had a set. So this is what's going back on. These are the 800-pound springs. If anybody needs 800-pound springs, like, I'll let them go for 50 bucks plus shipping. But these are the 600s with the front top hats, and these are the rear collars with the rear top hats. I'm going to get stuff powder coated on Friday, and I'm really debating powder coating those. Right now they're just spray painted. Powder coating would be like the right move to do at this point, and it probably wouldn't be too bad for 2 of those, but we'll see. Maybe I'll just hit them with more spray paint. But yeah, so I'm gonna wash my hands, but then we're gonna get to doing this coolant setup, and I'm gonna kind of run you through what I'm thinking. So if you watched the last episode where I welded on the O2 bungs on the side of the downpipe, I was like, yeah, perfect placement, out of the way. Yeah, it turns out I kind of screwed myself. So my thought, I have these 3 pre-bent 90-degree, literally meant for coolant, aluminum pipes. And my thought was going to be one of them, well, it still is, but one of them is going to come right here, like this. Let's move that guy. So that I just have to use a short run of hose to there, ideally something off the shelf. And then the second piece is going to run, obviously this would all have to be installed with the turbo out, but second piece would go right here. And if you're starting to see where my issue is going to be, the third piece was going to go just like this. And then that would be a rubber hose, or I'll probably make a little extension out of aluminum. But so it still works for the top bung. I can't use the bottom bung. And the worst part is I was originally going to put the bottom bung right here, but now it's too late. So what I'll probably do is cap this bung with I have like a cap for O2 sensor ports. And then I'll use this one for the either the ECU or the wideband, and then I'll use one of the other 2 ports for the other one. Likely this will be ECU and that one will be wideband down there. Easy enough to switch, but so I'm gonna put a cap in here now, but we're gonna run an aluminum pipe from really here all the way to here, and it's just gonna be one solid welded piece. Last year I ran rubber for around the back. I just had a straight pipe down the side and then rubber around the back. With the downpipe where it is and the temperature that downpipe's gonna see, I don't want to do that. I don't want to risk it. Like I said, I want to make this thing reliable. So it's gonna be as much aluminum as it can be, with a couple little pieces of rubber to join the radiator to the pipe and the pipe back to the back of the head. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of test fitting and cutting. So I'm gonna kind of put you guys on a tripod. I'm gonna time lapse a lot of this. But yeah, I know I said it last time, this is the last piece of fabrication required here. So once this is done, this will get powder coated as well. So it's all gonna get sent out for powder coating. It'll all look nice. Have it back in like a week. Probably by the time this episode airs, I'll have it. And then we will throw it all together. If I get it back soon enough, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So let's get to work. Enough blabbling around. All right, you kind of saw it come together there. So this is just a piece of hose I had from the last configuration. So this has a little curvature to it, comes into the pipe. We cut the one here, joins underneath here, makes a 90. And then this piece is what I cut off of the first piece to extend it. And then this comes back and does another 90. And I have some extra pipe laying around. I might extend this up to like right around here. That way this whole area is shielded, and then I think I'm going to get some of that. I have like wire shielding stuff for heat. It's like DEI makes it. I might get some that's like 1.25 or 1.5 and shield the back half of the pipe as well. Can't be too safe. Obviously that spot's going to be warm with the coolant. There's really no way around it, but I was worried I was going to have to do some weird like up and over thing, but the way this turbo manifold works and everything, it puts the turbo in the right spot where I have just enough room. What I'm going to do is off of this little hole down here that I was using last year, I'm going to make a bracket that comes out and holds this in place. That way it doesn't rattle around in the engine bay when the car is running. And I'm just going to weld the bracket to the pipe, and then there will be a bolt that goes through into the shock tower. So should be, in the end, a really clean setup. I'm going to go ahead and tack it together right now, make sure everything fits again when I'm done. and then I'll finish weld the whole piece, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. So let's get to tacking. Welder's still buzzing in the background, so you'll have to kind of listen over it, but it's all tacked up. It fits perfectly, so it comes under like we had planned, over, and then obviously the wiring harness is a bit in the way right now, but that'll shoot right up into that connector right there. And I think I'm gonna leave this rubber. I think that's far enough away. I mean, we got a good, you know, couple inches between the downpipe and the coolant pipe, so I think we're all right. I'm definitely gonna wrap it in heat stuff regardless, but I don't think it's worth welding on like another 2-inch section of pipe. I'd have to kind of find something that works, and I don't really think I have anything that's the right size, like exactly the right size. So we're gonna make this work. We're gonna finish weld it, and then this pipe will be done, and so will this episode maybe. So as you guys saw, I did end up welding a little 2-inch extension on the other side, and I'll show you that right now. But here it is. This piece is all fully welded, and the intake should still fit. Kind of important. Yeah. So the intake fits. I'll probably end up cutting this off, but intake fits. I might build a heat shield. I'm not sure. If I cut this off, I'll have some room to clock it away. But this is all here. Weld a little 2-inch extension on it so that it is actually, in fact, beyond the downpipe. And then I can heat wrap that entire section. And then down here, I don't know if the camera will see it, but I have this bracket, which I can take out. It's already marked. So I took a stepper bit, obviously not on center, and drilled out the diameter of this pipe. So this slits perfectly over the outside. And that's going to be the bracket that holds it down to that hole right there. So I'm going to go ahead and tack this to that guy, double check the fit, and then fully weld this on. And then this piece will be done. So I'll catch up with you when this is fully welded on. I'm running out of propane. It's starting to get cold in here. Actually, I'm out of propane. It is getting cold in here. But here is what I did. So here's the bracket. I kind of shaped it on the belt sander a bit so it's less square. And I put a riv nut in it for an M6, which aligns with the hole that we had down there. So I'm going to slip this guy in, and I'll set up the tripod so you can see how I do it. I don't need to take the turbo out to put this in, which is really cool. Yeah, I thought when I put this bracket on that I was screwed, but I can slide it in from behind, and it still fits fine. I would have never guessed it was going to come out this perfect. I really definitely screwed myself with those O2 sensor locations. Had I put like 10 minutes of more thought into it, I would have figured it out. But Misses here, definitely not hitting at all, even with this tab still here. Doesn't hit. I've got a hand width of gap underneath it. Doesn't hit the VTEC solenoid. I can put my hand all the way around it. There's room for the oil feed line here. And then here, there's a hand's width beneath the wastegate. There's space between the oil drain. This is fixed. I mean, that bolt down there, this bolt here is tight. So this isn't going anywhere. There's a gap right under here, so that's not gonna rub. This, when it sits like this, I can't put my finger beneath it, but there is space underneath this between the O2 sensor and the pipe. It doesn't hit unless I like clock the waste or the downpipe out of the way, but it's not gonna sit like that when we're driving, so it'll be more like this. And then back here, it is a direct shot to the coolant neck. So this is done. The coolant setup is done. The fab work is done. I'm literally just waiting on parts now, because what's gonna happen is I'm gonna send all this stuff out for powder coat, along with another intake that I'm making and a catch can that I'm making for 2 customers. It's all gonna go to powder coat on Friday. I will hopefully pick it up next week, mid to late next week, powder coat and ceramic coat. And then I'll put it all together. My slave cylinder shipped today, so I'll put the trans in, probably while everything's at powder coat this weekend. Valve cover is gonna be the last thing that gets here. It's supposed to be CNC engraved at the end of next week, or I guess when this video posts, the end of the week that just finished. So hopefully I'll get that, not next week, but the week after, or I guess next week for you guys. And then I got to finish those 2 lines, set the tune up, and I should be able to fire it. My goal is to get this car running a week from this video. So 3 weeks from now, or 2.5 weeks from now, sorry. And I am so close. I'm so excited. The shocks, it's a week, he said, turnaround. I already ordered the springs, so I'll have those back next week. I'll throw those guys in. Yeah, so close. I did order a 1-inch Wilwood master cylinder, but I don't need that to start the car. It will be here before then, so maybe this weekend I'll throw it in the car. If you guys saw the big break episode months ago, this 1.6 master cylinder does not have the gas to function these brakes well. So in the name of 400 horsepower and safety, I'm going to put the bigger master cylinder on there with the bigger brace from V8 Roadsters and everything. So yeah, bunch of little things that I'm going to do off camera. I got to remake one of these fuel lines because now that the motor's tipped back, it is too long, so it doesn't look, I can show you. This fuel line here that looked really nice, I built it when the motor was not installed with a transmission, so it's now too long and doesn't look cool, so I'm going to rebuild it so it's straight. And then I'm going to take all the fuel lines out, blow them all out, take the intercooler stuff off, including the intercooler, blow it all out, run some acetone through everything, make sure that it's clean. I don't want to suck anything into my car or into my turbo. And yeah, then it's really just little details that I'm going to do off camera. I might talk about them on camera when they're done, but little things, put the belt on, you know, clean up this stuff here, reseal this guy. But stuff that, you know, you guys won't see or it's not really worth recording. So we're that close. So close. I'm so pumped to hear this thing run, like my first boosted car, listen to the turbo spool up and all that stuff. So I'm hyped. That's all I can say. But you guys know the deal. Hit that like button, leave a comment down below, subscribe so that you can see this thing turn on, and hopefully in a month hit the dyno and make 400 horsepower. We got a dual port wastegate and a 4-port boost controller, so all that stuff's got to get mounted up and wired in. That way we can make a street level power and a gap level power. So lots of stuff ahead of us. Stay tuned, stick around. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. See you next time.